Deputy Chief, Fire Department in New York, retired Jim Riches, grew up in Brooklyn and served 30 years in the busiest firehouses of New York City. He married his childhood sweetheart, Rita, and raised 4 fine boys into great young men, all of whom followed him in his footsteps to become a New York City firefighter. His sons, Jimmy, Timmy, Danny, and Tom. Responding to the scene at Ground Zero as a member of Engine 4 on September 11th, Jimmy, the oldest of Jim and Rita's 4 brave sons, lost his life. Jim led the entire search and recovery team at Ground Zero from September 11th until closing the site in May 30th of 2002. He is a chairman of September 11th Parents and Families of Firefighters and a strong, fearless, brave advocate for 9/11 families. Please welcome the hero, Jim Riches.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the reception. I live 9/11. I live it every day. I lost my son Jimmy, my best friend, my oldest boy. He was a hero to my 3 other sons before 9/11, and he's a hero after 9/11. I led the search and recovery efforts down there at Ground Zero, and I can assure all the family members out there, we treated everyone that we found and everybody with dignity, respect. We draped everybody in American flags, and we treated them all as American heroes. I mean, on 9/11, I responded down there from home, and as I came over to Brooklyn Bridge, the second tower had already fallen. And I knew my son Jimmy was working because his birthday was the next day, and we were going to go out to eat, and I knew he was working the day before. I spent my entire time from 9/11 to the very end, May 2002, looking and searching for the bodies of the loved ones. We have 1,000 families who have never recovered anything down at Ground Zero, and hopefully somebody can do a good deed, because there are still human remains out in a garbage dump in Staten Island that they can have them removed. It's very special that we have these good deeds being done. I want to thank Jay and David for all the hard work they did, and everyone else, because my son ran into a building that day. It had a plane sticking out of it, and he went in there to help others. He was last seen in the North Tower helping people down. And for somebody to turn around and to do a good deed in their memory, it's especially warm to the families, to all of us, that on that evil, horrible day, the worst day in American history, that something good can come out of it. We're not going to forget what was done. We'll never forget. But to do something that will remember and keep and make America better and stronger, like it was on September 12, 2001, when America seemed like it had a great feeling of unity and everybody was together. We flew the American flags, black and white didn't matter, Democrat, Republican, we were all one. And if we could bring that feeling back again that we had on September 12th, every year, that would be great if we can continue that to make this country better. While in my house after 9/11 when it happened, it was great to see all the neighbors, all the firemen. We had people bringing us food for 6 months, 8 months, every night, coming to the house, sitting and talking to us. As someone who lost a loved one, a bit of advice to people, there'll never be closure for us. The hurt is always there. Christmas dinners, he's not there. My son's wedding, he wasn't there. Don't tell them they're in a better place. This is a better place. You should be here. You're better off just talking to the families and tell them, you know what, I saw your son here, and tell us stories about him. And it makes me feel great, and my wife, when people talk about, instances where they met him and he did things, because he was such a wonderful person, and we miss him terribly. my story doesn't end there. I was down there digging at ground zero. In 2005, my lungs shut down. I had acute respiratory distress syndrome from the air at ground zero. I had bilateral pneumonia, and I was in a coma for 16 days on a mechanical ventilator in the hospital. They told my family I had 5 hours to live from the toxic air down there, and to get my family together that I was going to die. Well, I think my son Jimmy was looking over us because he brought a miracle. I pulled through after 16 days. I had stroke-like symptoms. I had to learn how to walk and talk and do everything all over again, but I kept plugging away because, I had to. And they don't have a voice, and we're going to speak for them. And hopefully, the politicians that are here tonight can pull through and get a Health and Compensation Act finally, 8 years later, passed for the sick and dying first responders. I tell you, when you're in a hospital and you can't do something, I had to learn how to walk, talk, and do everything. All the people in the hospital, you see all the volunteers, they come in, they help you. I had, the simplest things we take for granted. And to this day, I have a different perspective on life. I get up and kiss the ground every morning and say, thank God I'm alive. And these people were there to help me, to walk me through things, take me in cars. I couldn't drive. I mean, we can't take everything for granted. Don't take your children for granted. Kiss them every night, hug them, talk to them, because you'll miss them forever. Take pictures of them, stay with them, and you'll be rewarded in the end. I really am so happy that my son and my family, we were close. We did everything together, and I can honestly say that Jimmy lived a full life. He may not have lived 60 years. He only lived 29 years, but he put a lot of life in those years. And for everyone out there across the United States, hopefully, we'll remember the people that died on 9/11. We'll remember that day. We'll never forget, and we'll do good deeds and help people, the less fortunate, who are not as fortunate as us, because they need it. And if we lift it up, we only make America better. Never forget 9/11. Thank you very much. Thank you.